Hey there, this is LA Calling, and you're watching Brutally Delicious with Bruce Moore.
Hey, welcome to Brutally Delicious. I'm Bruce Moore. Today we've got another great show in store for you. We're going to go live via remote all the way to the UK and speak with the guys from Seven Deadly. And if you stay tuned, we're going to see what they have cooked up for us today. For those not familiar with the band Seven Deadly, can you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
I'll tell you a little bit about the band. It's a 5-piece band, 2 guitarists, bass player, drummer and a vocalist. We've got a fairly experienced background. 3 of us were in a band called Panic Soul before Seven Deadly was formed. And really the style of the band is a really good mixture between old school metal and new school metal. So yeah, that's about it.
I know you guys are planning on releasing a new full-length disc. Can you tell us a little bit about it and when we can expect to see it?
Looking to release it around September, and at the moment there isn't a title, although we've been joking around with a few things, haven't we?
Yeah.
What is your writing process like? Do you guys all write together, or is it more the efforts of one particular member of the band?
I'd say that we kind of bring our own ideas a lot of the time, but if we're together in the practice room or something like that, we're not limited. So although we might bring our own ideas, we still do write together.
How does it make you feel when the energy and the power you envisioned while recording and writing in the studio comes to life in front of a live audience?
Great. A lot of the time when you're working on stuff in the studio, it can be very mundane, very repetitive. So when we get out on stage, it makes it worthwhile. That's what we're doing it for. We're doing it to go out and play to people and enjoy the experience.
Yeah. And when people are singing the lyrics back to you and really getting into it, it's just a great feeling. Absolutely.
Do you have any rituals before you hit the stage? If so, what are they?
How about you? You got any rituals before?
Well, yeah, I like to have a few beers and run through my guitar exercises. Archie goes away, I can hear you normally going through some vocal warm-ups.
Yeah.
Actually, we're pretty relaxed actually, you know, we're pretty laid back. We'll have a few beers, have a chat. We'll go out and speak to the audience and check out the bands that are playing before us, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any plans to tour in support of the new release?
There's always whispers about what's going on, but we don't care to give too much away, so we'll see.
We've just come back off a tour with Breed 77, and really it was just to kind of introduce the band. We had some EPs that we were selling and distributing to the audience, and that went very well. So yeah, there are, like Archie says, whispers, but come closer to September time we'll be able to tell everybody what's going on.
What's the strangest thing that's ever happened to you on tour or at one of your shows? And let's keep it PG-13.
God, there's a million things that are running through my head. If it's PG-13, okay. The guys have started the set a couple of times when I've not been there. I've actually been in the toilet and I've heard them start to play, and of course I've had to quickly run back and get on stage.
Didn't you bring some toilet paper?
Yeah.
Hanging out the back of his trousers. Class.
What would fans be surprised to find on your iPod?
Oh, okay. What would they be surprised to find on my iPod? I don't want to say, it's rather embarrassing.
I've got some Phineas and Ferb, but it's not mine. It's for my boy, I promise.
There's all sorts of things. I wouldn't care to name names as I'll look terrible if I say it, but my music taste is pretty eclectic. So I'm not really limited in that sense. If it's on there, it's on there.
The machinery, isn't it? Come on.
I know.
Alright, so now we're at my favorite part of the episode, and it's a shame we're doing this via remote because I'd love to be joining you in the kitchen. But go ahead, the cameras are yours, take it away, and let's see what you have cooked up for us today.
Hello and welcome to England. My name's H. I play guitar in a UK-based metal band called Seven Deadly, and today I'm going to show you how to cook an authentic lamb curry. Okay, this dish was taught to me by my father, and in order to cook it properly you need the following ingredients. 1 coarsely chopped onion. If you keep the bits the same size they'll cook at the same rate, so that's quite important. So, onion, you'll need fresh garlic, fresh ginger, some cumin seeds, some turmeric, some garam masala, which is blended in Indian herbs and spices. Hopefully you can get that in the States. You'll need some cooking oil, some peeled plum tomatoes, these have been blended to save time. Some meat, I'm putting in lamb, love lamb, but you could put chicken in or whatever. Some freshly chopped coriander and some freezing cold lager. This is really important, and stuff else as well. Ooh. Right, let's get started. Okay, first things first. Get the heat on, get the fire on underneath that pan, get it warmed up. I'm going to put some oil in. I'm just basically going to cover the bottom of the pan with oil. That should do. Let the oil get hot. And a good way of knowing when the oil's hot enough is to put those cumin seeds in. Put those all in the pan. Get them all in there. Lovely. As they're toasting, you'll start smelling it, and the oil will start bubbling. So we'll come back when that's happened. Back so soon. Right, can you hear that? Those little cumin seeds are sizzling now, so in we go with the onions. And this is the most important bit about cooking any curry. Hope you washed your hands, I have, honest guff. These onions now need to be cooked. So I'd say till they're black really, because I don't know what it is culturally. English people tend to brown their onions, and to me they're not even half done. So I'll tell you what, we'll cook these onions, keep stirring them because they mustn't burn, but they've got to be cooked. I'll see you in a bit. I've been cooking on these on a fairly high heat for about 4 or 5 minutes. I'm just going to turn it down a bit now because, like I said before, this is the important bit. We don't want these onions to burn, but we do need them to cook properly. So you have a look. Some have actually gone black, some are getting brown at the edges. Yeah? That's what we want. You can see all like the moisture's been cooked out of them. They're getting darker and darker by the second. Now, this is when we throw in the garlic and the ginger. And again, this is in Indian cooking, in Punjabi, this is called the tudka, making the tudka, which is the sauce of most curries. This is the most important bit. Again, if you don't keep stirring this now, the garlic will stick to the bottom of the pan. So it's going to keep stirring, keep the heat on, watch this stuff go really dark. It's going to be beautiful, trust me. Keep cooking it, stirring it, cooking it and stirring it, cooking it and stirring it. Beautiful. Don't worry too much if you get bits sticking to the bottom of the pan, because there's some magic that goes on when you cook this stuff. Just keep stirring it as best you can. See, it's going proper black, is that? Alright. Keep it going. So maybe 5 or 6 minutes later, that's your onion, your garlic and your ginger and your cumin seeds. I know it looks very dark, some bits are actually black, but they're not burnt. This is how it's supposed to be. This is where people go wrong. They panic and they think it's burning. This is what we want. We want all the moisture cooked out of everything. And it's kind of, it looks dry. That's how you want it. Beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. Okay, at this stage, this is the turmeric. It's got lots of good properties, this stuff. It's a natural antibiotic apparently. But all this does, it doesn't really add flavour to the curry. It adds colour. So I don't know, teaspoon. This is what gives the curry the smell. So, you know, if you don't want it to, you know, some people don't like the smell of curry, don't put so much turmeric in. You can see that. It was dark before, it's getting darker. Yeah, you sort of just want to cook the turmeric into those onions, ginger and garlic and cumin seeds. And as I said before, this is the turka part of a curry, the base of most curries. Cook that for a bit more, have another bit of a drink. Because it's hard work standing here and stirring this all night, you know? Cooking's great, if you do it right, it's brilliant. Go. You know when you fry bacon and people like it done really, really crispy? That's kind of what it's gone like. That's what you want as the base of your curry. And now, this is the bit of magic I was talking about. For the amount of meat I've got, say if you used half an onion for 4 people, then you'd want half a tin of peeled plum tomatoes. But I've used the whole onion, I've got quite a bit of meat there, so what's this, 2 tins in here? Yeah, so 1 tin of peeled plum tomatoes will do. But watch this, when this goes in, I don't know what happens, but anything that was stuck to the bottom of the pan, if you stir this around, look, it sort of comes off. If you rub it, it's not stuck to the bottom of the pan no more. It's magic. Okay, so any bits of garlic and ginger and stuff that were sort of sticking to the bottom of the pan, just rub with a wooden spoon and it all comes off. There you go. All those bits that were stuck there. So don't panic when you're cooking this stuff, you know. You need to get all the moisture out of the onions, the ginger and the garlic. Really cook them well. There you go. There's nothing stuck to the bottom of that pan now. It's magic. It's fantastic. Right, now what we do, we're going to cook this, the peeled plum tomatoes, and we will again cook all the moisture out, because we want the moisture out of the meat. We don't want to boil the meat, we want to cook it in a thick sauce. So we're now going to reduce this down till it's very, very dry and ready to throw the meat in, okay? See you in a minute. Okay, so we're cooking away, see? It's kind of separating from the oil. It's drying out quite quickly. Keep stirring it. It's not going to burn, nothing's going to burn, don't panic, but keep stirring it. You can see it's thickening up and it smells fantastic. Okay, so look at the difference now. All that moisture's gone. Oh. Beautiful. Don't do what I just did, because that could be quite nasty. A hot bit of curry in the eye. You know what I mean? Anyway, look at that. I only did that because I was trying to show you, honest guff. All the moisture's gone out of that. Well, no, it was a whole tin of peeled plum tomatoes. See that? That's what you need to get it to. That's got all that onion in. Honestly, that's going to taste fantastic. So actually now, whatever you're cooking, be it, when I say whatever you're cooking, whatever meat you're cooking, that's the base of every Indian curry. That's how they start, yeah? And that is ready for the meat now. So son, Zach, bring me the lamb.
Do I look like a servant, and do we have to have lamb curry again?
Sorry mate. So, yeah, here we go. He loves it really, he loves lamb curry. Everybody loves lamb curry.
You do.
In it all goes, okay? Give it a stir. We're going to cook that now because we've got all the moisture out of everything. We're not going to boil the meat, yeah? That meat's going to cook. All the juice is going to come out of that meat. And give it a good stir. Leave it on the heat. Don't turn the heat down or anything. Don't need to add anything at this stage. You just need to babysit it. I'm a good babysitter, me. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? That's the sizzle. Can you hear that sound? Come on, I'll show you how to cook it. Stay away from the flame.
I don't want to burn my face.
It will burn your face. It's good. Can you hear that?
I can hear it sizzle.
Sounds like war going on here. But the meat is basically, the outside of that meat is getting sealed by the heat. So again, when you're cooking Indian food, they cook with high heat, but never panic. Just keep stirring stuff, you know, nothing's going to burn. There's so much fluid and juice in that meat to come out. What's going to happen is it's going to seal quickly. And then once it's sealed, you turn it down and all the juice will come out. It's going to cook in its own lamb juice. Sounds a bit weird, it tastes great. See that? It's all very dry at the moment. You're thinking, what's he talking about, juice? You wait and see. So, all of 3 or 4 minutes ago, but what I did want to tell you is, you see these bits at the side of the pan, try and scrape all of those to the bottom, because you know that's everything in here is going to add flavour, and if it sticks to the side of the pan, it will actually burn. So try and get everything off the side of the pan. I think it's something to do with the tomato. If you keep wiping this stuff around, it will drag the stuff off the side of the pan. Okay, see you soon. Okay, so while the meat's still cooking on its own, I've not added anything to it since we last spoke. Up the emmers, the boys. Anyway, what I need to do is just boil some water. Because once the meat's cooked, yeah, and all the juice has come out of the meat, that juice has got all the flavour. And what we can do is you kind of cheat. You add some water to it to make more juice, basically, more sauce. But you don't want to just add any water. So if you boil it first, and it purifies the water, then you could have half a cup or a cup, but that's done once everything's been cooked, just to give more sauce to people. People love sauce. So, if you can come in on that, I've not added anything, no water. Look at all the juice that's coming out of that meat. Okay, so I think all that meat's sealed now. I'm going to put it back on the pan, not on the pan, on the heat. I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit, and I'm going to cover it now, because see all the steam that's coming out? That's basically the fluid from the meat coming out. We want to keep that in there, but we don't want it to burn, so I'm going to turn it down a bit. I'll find the lid. We'll find the lid in a minute, it's no panic. And we'll cover it, just let it cook for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. But come back, keep an eye on it, stir it, just keep an eye on it, lower the heat if you think it's burning. But let's get the wax juice out. The meat that I've got came from a supermarket and it was cubed diced lamb. But if you do get the chance, go to your local butcher and ask him to dice up the shoulder of the lamb or the leg of lamb. Once you've got it, if you can get the bone as well, get him to cut the bone up and throw that in this as well, it will add so much flavour from the bone marrow that comes out of the bone, funny enough. The meat bone, you know, the lamb bone. Some people, alright. Okay, so I've turned it down and my meat's covered. Okay, so I've turned it down and my meat is now covered. Okay, so I've been babysitting this baby, and off camera you might have said, oh, it was just turning, it was just burning, but there's no need to panic if you keep an eye on it. I grabbed some of that water I boiled earlier, just put it in. I put in about, do you get teacups in the States? I put in about a teacup full of boiling water, or boiled water, and just stirred it around, and hey presto. It's all fine. And we're ready for the next stage really. So Zach, my little helper.
Presto, hello.
Obviously kids, fire stuff, be careful. This is the garam masala, which is a mixture of herbs and spices that have been dried out and ground down. Zach, you want to do the honours? Put those in, be very careful.
I don't want to burn my hands.
Yes right, you don't want to burn your hands. Okay, so that goes in.
Is that all of it?
Yeah. Washing. And if you like your curries, chilli and stuff, this is the time to put in your chopped red or green chillies. I'm not going to put them in tonight because the young boy's going to be eating it, but if it was just for me and the mates, I'd throw loads of freshly chopped green chillies in there. And really, that's more or less it. Just bear with me. Your freshly chopped coriander can go in now. Oh darn it. Just get another wooden spoon and put it in the wash. Give that a stir. You might want to put a bit of salt in at this point. I've not added any salt or pepper. And now's the time. If you well, you do need salt. We're healthy here in England and we use sea salt. So,
We're not always.
about how much? Okay. We'll check it again in 10 or 15 minutes. Quick taste, you can always add a bit more salt. But yeah, now look at that. That'll be ready to eat in about 10 or 15 minutes. Just keep it on a low heat, cover it. And if you've added chillies and stuff at this stage, they'll all infuse. Lovely flavours that get going. Time to have another cold beer, you know, really. If you're going to eat it, I mean that's just the lamb. You can have it with potatoes. You can do some potatoes cooked in a similar way. You just get the base, the turka of what I showed you earlier, the onions, the garlic, the ginger, all that stuff. You know, you could do potatoes like that as well. Instead of adding the meat at that stage, you throw in some potatoes, keep an eye on it, add a bit of water, and that's how you do Bombay potatoes. It will go really well with this. But you know, in my culture, lamb curry is a dish that's served at weddings and stuff like that, and it's just served on its own with some bread. We have chapatis, we can get them ready made here in England quite easily, but if you can't, some tortilla bread will do, and you kind of use that you put the bread in your hand and you pick up the chunks of meat and you put it in your mouth. Sweet. Okay, so this has been cooking for about 15-20 minutes. I've added a little bit of water, not much. You see the difference now. But the wife's just said she's expecting some more people for dinner. So, no panic. What we do is we peel some potatoes. And Zach, you bring the peeled potatoes to me, please. Come over there. Okay. You just pop some potatoes in to the curry. Yeah, be careful because it's all hot.
Okay.
Good lad. Give it a stir. Okay, so adding some potatoes, no drama. Potatoes are going to need fluid to cook in, so maybe another cupful of water. Cupful of water gone in there. Cover it. Cupful of water. Okay. Lid on. It doesn't have to be tight. 10 or 15 minutes, it'll all be done. We can sit down and eat it. You can see that. Do the old fork test. The potatoes are nice and soft. Potatoes go in. Sorry, the fork goes into the potato with not a lot of effort. And basically, that lamb and potato curry now is done. The wife has made some chapatis, which is basically chapati flour and water. You mix it together, it's like unleavened bread. That's another recipe for another time. But shortly we'll be enjoying that lamb curry with some chapatis and some cold lager. So you keep cooking the baby, and you can dip in and pull out a bit of meat. It sounds wrong. It sounds wrong. Pull out a bit of meat, and when it's as tender as you like it, basically the thing's done. It's ready to dish up and eat. As I said before, there's some chapatis that my good wife Kim made earlier. Kim's half Irish, half English. She was taught how to make these chapatis by my mum, which is basically chapati flour and water. You knead it into a dough, you let the dough rise for a bit, and then you cook it on a hot pan. But that, like I said, that's another story. We're going to get ready to enjoy our lamb curry. Here's the finished dish.